So, starting off with myself, my name is Michelle Pava, and I serve as the Vice President of Recruitment and Admissions for the Consortium. I'm very passionate about increasing access and representation in education, and I'm also a first generation graduate from modest background. So very passionate about just demystifying the MBA process for all. I've been here for 6 months now, but before this, I served as the Senior Associate Director of Diversity Recruitment for the Michigan Ross Full-Time MBA program. And what drew me to this role is the fact that now I get to provide access to 22 of our member schools instead of just one. So it's really about serving you all and seeing what's the best fit for you and helping guide you through your journey and your goals. And with that, I'll hand it over to Amber to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you all for joining across the country. Really appreciate that. So my name is Amber Walsh. I'm a Senior Associate Director for Admissions at the Yale School of Management. I'm also a very proud alum from the class of '09, so very much I'm excited for you all to start this journey. I also empathize with the amount of work that goes into this. Um, as well as Michelle, I'm first gen low income college student, so like navigating the uncertainty and things like that, I feel, it's kind of my calling to support other folks as they navigate these steps. So really excited to be here. I'm even more excited because I'm joined by one of our prestigious alums, Michaela Barker, and I will pass it over her to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Amber. Hello, everyone. It's so lovely to be here. As mentioned, my name is Michaela Barker. I graduated from Yale SOM in 2024. I was a dual degree student for the MBA program as well as the School of Public Health. And I was very involved, which we can get into a little bit later about my student experience. But I loved being a part of Yale and the consortium, and I'm an open book. So if you all have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Love it. And Sita?
All right. Hi, my name is Sita Haddock. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions here at NYU Stern. I've been with Stern for about 4 years, but with NYU as a whole for about eight. I'm really excited to be here and connect with all of you and chat a little bit about the consortium.
Awesome. Okay, and then we hopefully will have someone from Rice joining us as well. He's just having technical difficulties, so I'll keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started with a little bit more about the consortium. So I'll share my screen and okay, let's do it. So, starting off with who we are here at the consortium, we are a nonprofit organization in the higher education space that's dedicated to expanding access and increasing representation in business education and leadership. As my old coworker and friend used to say, we're not new to this, we're true to this. We've been around for a while, and we are looking for individuals who have show a similar commitment to increasing access within your respective communities. So something really important to note here is that even though we serve those that are in the business, we serve those who are looking to pursue an MBA, we're industry agnostic in terms of the commitment that you've demonstrated in your own personal life. So whether you've increased, expanded access, within your academic endeavors, your professional or your personal. It's really, we're looking for people who have just demonstrated a commitment to that mission. And so some examples that we often see are perhaps in undergrad, you were in organizations like NSBE or NABA, or you were part of Alpha, or in your professional life, perhaps you're part of an ERG, or you work on projects that help to elevate under-resourced communities. And even on a personal side, perhaps you're an entrepreneur. I heard a little bit about Michaela being an entrepreneur, perhaps through that, or you mentor, or you give back to communities that's, that helped elevate your journey in the past. So really, really, really important to note that we don't really dictate what that commitment looks like. We're just looking for people who have served their communities and who want to continue to be leaders within their respective MBA programs and beyond. So the way we work, which I'll get into in just a moment, is we have a strong alliance made up of some of the best business schools in the country, corporate partners, and we also are supported by a network of current students that have cohorts within each respective MBA program, as well as a very expansive network of alums. A little bit about us. We were founded in 1966, so we are celebrating our 60th anniversary this year. And we were founded by Professor Sterling Shane, who was a professor at Washington University in St. Louis. He wanted to make an impact on the gap in equal opportunity employment, and so he created a consortium of three founding schools, which included his WashU in St. Louis, Indiana Kelley, as well as Wisconsin School of Business. And so the initial mission was to give African American men the business skills and access needed to secure leadership positions in American organizations. At that time, there was zero leaders within executive positions in Fortune 500 companies. And so he came together with 60 educators, business leaders, and started the first class, which included 21 African American men and three corporate partners. Over the years, our mission has evolved. It expanded to include women, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans after 1970. And now we welcome all U.S. citizens, permanent residents of all backgrounds and walks of life who have demonstrated a commitment to our mission. So a little bit about eligibility. I know that's important for those who are on the call. Right now, we serve applicants who are either again U.S. citizens, permanent residents, or DACA applicants are also welcome, but you do have to check each program's policies. You must hold a four-year bachelor's degree at the time of matriculation. So some schools may accept you graduating in May before you start their program, but again, you do want to check each program's policies as you should do for all the schools that you're interested in. And then we are looking for a demonstrated commitment and looking for you to continue your work, your mission work on a domestic capacity. And so I'm playing around a little bit with my slides, so if I'm bouncing around a little, bear with me. But the next thing I want to talk about is how we serve you as an applicant in your MBA journey. And so again, we're looking for people who are committed to expanding access, but we also serve you and expanding access to your journey. And some of the ways we do that is through a streamlined application process. We also offer consortium fellowship funding opportunities through our member schools. And we have an annual orientation program and career forum, which is called the OP. We just had it 2 weeks ago in Seattle. And it's an opportunity for you to come together with your cohort before school starts. You get access to corporate partners and early internship opportunities. And so you get to meet your future classmates, not only in your program, but across 22 member schools. And you will be part of a lifetime access to an exclusive network of 12,000 alums. So our network right now includes 22 member schools. They're all included in our application. It's important to note that we serve full-time MBA programs, except for Emory, where we include their full-time as well as their 1 year. But again, for our organization, our application includes the full-time MBA program for all of our member schools. Every year, our application launches August 15th, so we are working to have that launched on that date this year. Be a couple of days before that, we'll have a virtual application launch event where all of our member schools will be invited, our strategic partners will be invited, and you'll have a chance to get some time in with different admissions officers from different schools. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But the benefit of applying through us is that you can apply to as many programs as you want at a discounted rate, which saves you time and money. And so I'll get a little bit into what that application looks like in just a moment. But another differentiator of ours is that we have two deadlines. And so if you're looking to apply to multiple programs, you don't have to worry about the school's deadlines. All of our member schools will adhere to our deadlines, which also saves you that mental space to be able to focus on your test scores, on your essays, on your recommendation letters, instead of worrying about keeping track of all these deadlines. So our round one is October 15th and round two is January 5th. You must apply by by one of those two deadlines. And what we do on our end is we will collect your materials, and after the deadline passes, we'll batch over your materials to each of the programs that you've applied to. And then they'll review them, have a holistic approach, and decide whether they want to invite you to interview or not. Here's what the application looks like. So once you do begin an application, you'll see that we collect some demographic information. We have our core essays as well. We'll ask for a resume. And then what will happen is we'll ask you to fill out some of our required mission essays. So to give you an idea to help you start thinking about what you want to write about, our two core essays our core essay and our mission essay are the following. So we ask you to describe your short and long-term goals post MBA, and then our mission essay will ask you how you demonstrated commitment to our mission and how you plan to do so while you're pursuing your MBA. And then we also have an optional essay, and of course, for all the school programs that you're applying to, you'll have to fill out their program materials and their essays as well. We also offer streamlined recommendation letter process. So that's another good nugget for you to take away from our presentation today that by applying through us, you have to fill out 3 recommendation letters that get streamlined through us. And then we disperse those rec letters over to all the schools. So again, you don't have to ask your recommender to fill out 5 different recommendation letters. They'll do it through our portal, and then we'll disperse those materials to the member schools. So in terms of what we're looking for, we ask for 1 mission recommendation letter. So you want to have somebody who can talk about how you've supported our mission, how you've advanced access within your respective practice. And then we have 2 professional recommendations, who again, most commonly are completed by your supervisor or your prior direct supervisor and speak to your professional experience. And then in terms of member schools, the way it works is that within our application, you would have the option to select to which member schools you're applying to. Again, there is no limit on the amount of schools you apply to. And so this is what it would look like. Once you add them to your application, you'll then see their program materials within our application. And you can feel secure that by completing our application, you've completed what they're asking for, because every year they go in, they review their program materials, and they make sure that it's aligning to their specific school application. So you don't have to go back and forth worrying about, well, it's asking me this here and not here. Don't worry. We're asking you everything that the school needs to make sure that you've completed your application. All right, and nearing the end here, the way our review process works is once we've received your materials, we'll go ahead and we'll review our consortium team, I should say our consortium team will review your consortium specific materials, including your mission essays, your mission recommendation letter, and we'll evaluate you for admission into the consortium. Separately from us, the schools will review your application materials, the program materials that you sent. So they don't see the mission essay, they don't see the mission recommendation, they see their school specific materials, and they will determine an admission decision for you. And so if you are admitted into the consortium and the school admits you as well, they control the consortium fellowship, the consortium funding. So each school makes an individual decision on whether they are going to admit you and if they're going to offer you any funding. And it can be anywhere from partial to full tuition that they offer you. And each school, there's no limit on the amount of schools that can offer you funding. So again, it's a very individual decision made by us and an individual decision made by the school. So if you have a very strong application, you may walk away with multiple offers and hopefully multiple funding decisions as well. So becoming a consortium fellow, you've demonstrated that you're enrolling in one of our member schools. That means you are then eligible to attend our annual orientation program, and you become part of our consortium community. And last but not least, I encourage you to attend an upcoming event. We're having a couple more member school webinars in our series, but we've officially releasing our in-person recruitment events for the year. So you'll want to keep an eye out for that. We're being graciously hosted by a lot of our member schools across different cities. So our first one is going to be in Atlanta at Emory on August 25th, and then we'll go to DC, New York, Houston, LA, San Francisco, and Chicago. Follow us on Instagram. We post often. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at recruiting@cgsm.org. All right. With that, I will end my presentation and I will ask you, let's see, did Leo get on? Give me 1 second. Let me just check that now that I'm done. No, he wasn't able to. So, Sita, why don't we start with you? Are you ready to go with your Stern presentation?
I am. I do have a current student who is supposed to join, and I'm currently working with him on some
Oh, okay.
technical issues.
All
Um,
right.
so
No, it's
I'm
okay.
super
Amber, do you want to
happy to
go?
go. But yeah,
No, Amber, how about you?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. I'm happy to jump in. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
We
I've
are.
lost my view of you all. So, okay, here we go. So again, my name is Amber Walsh, and really excited to be here. As I mentioned, I graduated in 2009, which is just 1 year after Yale became a consortium member. So I'm really happy to, be here as part of this program today, and I'd love to just go through some slides to highlight about three things that I think makes our program really distinctive. I'm also so thrilled to have Michaela Barker here with us. As she mentioned, she is a joint degree student, so she left the program with 2 degrees, one being the MBA, of course, and the other as her master's in public health. And she not only served as our consortium liaison, but she was also the class president, which I think is really exceptional, especially as a joint degree student and all of the things that she had going on. She's also an entrepreneur, and I'll let her talk more about that experience. But she's just a great example of the many ways in which our consortium community steps up into leadership and shapes SOM through their impact and beyond during their time there. So she'll share more about her experience at the end as I go through just a few slides, but let's see, hopefully my slideshow will cooperate here. And I get it to move. Here we go. So in providing the overview, something that's really core to us, and I love that about Michelle's presentation, is like how core our mission is. We're a very mission-led MBA program. We care about educating leaders for business and society from the inception of the program. Our community cares about being successful both in their careers, but also having a positive impact on society. And I see as a common thread of candidates who apply that they want to have deeper purpose, beyond just a great job and all of those things that go with that, but also feeling that they have a greater impact on their communities, on their environments, on their work environments, and on society in general. So this mission means that we hope to develop leaders who have the ability to think broadly about the challenges that they're facing in what is a growingly complex world. They have the ability to be decision makers in complex environments, to be able to understand and interact with multiple stakeholders, influencers, and navigate the consequences of those interactions. So we think that our mission is more relevant than ever in this space. So I want to talk about a little bit. So this is a photo of our incoming class of 2028. And this was at the OP just a few weeks ago in Seattle. So across both classes, the first and second years, we have 75 consortium fellows in that program. We're really proud of that. We have a really great group of folks. So I hope when you apply and attend or visit us at the School of Management. You'll just be in awe of these sharp minds that we have and just a really fantastic environment that we have cultivated through this community. Um, I think one of the things that makes Yale special and SOM special is how integrated we are with our host university. So this is a very conscious decision of the university itself to remove any kind of barriers to knowledge, to engagement across the entire campus. So Michaela is an example of that as a joint degree student, but we also, as all MBA students, are able to take electives across the entire campus. You also have students from other places around campus joining you in the classroom. We have faculty that co-teach across multiple schools. So whether it's the School of the Environment, the School of Global Policy, the School of Public Health, uh, the law school, we have a lot of interaction between our students and clubs as well as that. So lots of ways that you are able to really specialize your MBA and expose yourself to the interests and activities that really make sense for you and what you want to do in the future. Our second year is entirely electives, and you could take all of those electives outside of the School of Management if you choose to. Another distinction is that we are the first school to have a global studies requirement as part of our MBA program. This is something that I really took advantage of. My career before returning to Yale was all in international development. I traveled to 6 countries while I was a student, really having broad exposure to uh, global perspectives was really important to me. So we have a global studies requirement, lots of different ways that you can participate in that, whether it be an international experience to a specific country or region of the world, or pro bono consulting in another country. I did this in India as well as Colombia. And so there's many different ways that you can fulfill this global studies requirement. We also have study abroad. We have this global network for advanced management. So this is a partnership with 32 business schools around the world, each that have their own specialties. So if you're interested in technology, maybe it's in Tel Aviv, entrepreneurship in Europe. So you have many different options to explore and to really, again, specialize in the way that you'd like to during your MBA experience. And uh, the third distinction, I think, is the way that we teach management education. This is a really special approach that we have where we don't really have courses like finance and marketing, but we think it about problems from the perspective of the stakeholder or the humans that are making those decisions, right? Which can be really complex decisions that you're making and requires multiple skills and disciplines. So we have courses called the executive, you can see the workforce, the customer, and in those courses, which are usually co-taught by faculty from different disciplines, you're getting a really nuanced view of like what are the challenges and what are the perspectives of the people that are making these decisions within these spaces. I think also really interesting is that we'll use some of our raw case study, which is a multimedia, lots of data and raw information that students will use to solve a particular case, a particular problem. And you might use the same case in different courses. So obviously the perspective or the decision making that you might have as the workforce might be very different from your approach to that same problem uh, within the investor, for example. So lots of ways that we are engaging students on a deeper level to be able to engage and be empathetic leaders once they are outside in the real world and making those decisions themselves, or working with people that are in these roles and coming from these perspectives.
Hey, Amber,
So,
just FYI, you're still on the mission slide.
oh no, sorry about this, guys. I'm flipping through on my other screen and it's going through. So I'm sorry. Here is our class of 2028, our incoming class. that was their experience at the OP. And some of you might have met Michael before, who's in the right there. He's very active. This is our global network picture. So just showing some of the business schools around the world that we collaborate with. And sorry, this is the courses that I was talking about. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. So again, looking at these different, so this is for your first year in the program, you are taking these core courses. This is kind of your management toolkit. You're learning in a cohort structure where you're learning with the same group of people, about 60 people or so. And inside of those groups, you have your learning team, which is really like your core group when you enter into the program, where you do a lot of your group work together and really get to know each other and understand each other's leadership styles and learning styles. It's a really fantastic experience. So I wanted to make sure to maximize our time with Michaela. I'm so excited to hear what she's been up to. So I'm going to hand it over to her to, just talk a little bit about what you were doing pre-MBA and maybe a little bit about why Yale attracted you, why you decided to attend Yale. And I know you already mentioned that you were a really engaged student. So I would love for you to talk more about that as well as your current activities, which I think are so exciting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amber. So before coming to Yale, I worked in healthcare, specifically public health. So I worked at Nationwide Children's Hospital as well as my local health department, focusing on infant and maternal mortality. Healthcare was very important to me and still very much so is. I'm the daughter of an OBGYN, so healthcare kind of runs in my blood. And there were quite a few things that attracted me to coming to Yale and SOM. First of all, I never got off of a call like this, whether it was with a group of people or one-on-one, without being connected to somebody else. And the fact that I had those resources immediately at my disposal before I was admitted, before I even had my application looked over, really meant a lot to me because it showed me that Yale actually cared about me as a person. And then the biggest factor for me deciding to come to Yale, it's going to be sad, but I promise it'll be a happy story in the end. While I was applying to Yale, my grandfather unfortunately passed away from esophageal cancer. And as I was debating, do I need to take time off and defer, or do I continue on with this process? Yale was the one school that said, not only can you defer, but we'll give you access to our mental health resources. If you need a counselor, we'll hook you up at no charge, even though you're not a student. And I was like, this is the type of school that will make sure that I actually thrive, not just survive. So that absolutely changed my life. I decided to go with Yale. I absolutely do not regret it. And that love from how I was treated during that process is one of the reasons that I was so involved at Yale. So as Amber mentioned, I was a dual degree student with the School of Public Health and obviously the School of Management. I was student government president as well as consortium liaison, the leader of the Black Business Alliance, and I also TA'd a lot of classes. I ran our healthcare conference, and I'm still involved with the Yale community. And I'm currently, well, I just got installed as one of our delegates for our Yale Alumni Association representing the School of Management. So the love runs very, very deep. And some of the things that I really loved about SOM was the community, as cliche as that may sound. I'm someone who you could tell is very, very involved, but I love healthcare. I love entrepreneurship. I love music. And I found my people throughout that entire experience. So as Amber was mentioning, for my post-grad plans, I do have my own company called Matcha Scrubs, where I sell satin-lined scrub caps to healthcare providers and hospitals. And Yale was instrumental in that. I was a part of the SOM Entrepreneurship Lab. I worked at Sci-City with their summer fellowship, and all the resources that they gave me, as well as the grants and pitch opportunities, helped to make my Matcha Scrubs business what it is today. And today we actually were officially allowed to announce that we're a 2026 Tory Burch Foundation Fellow, which is a very big deal, and I'm so happy. I had to wait literally until today because I signed an NDA, and I didn't go to law school, but I do know how to read a contract due to the core classes at Yale. So it was just an amazing experience, and I loved every single opportunity taking classes at all of the schools from School of Medicine, School of Management, Public Health, the law school, and the drama school. And I can happily get into that later as well if you have more questions, Amber.
Yeah, I think you did such a great job presenting that. And I'd love for you just to speak as we're talking to our consortium folks, just maybe briefly about your experience as part of the consortium, that network, how it's been as how it was as a student and how it has transitioned now that you're an alum.
Absolutely. So our consortium class was very close, not only as students, but also with the faculty and staff there. Heidi Brooks was one of our professor liaisons, and she teaches interpersonal dynamics at Yale, which is one of the most popular electives that you can take. Everyone is fighting to get into that class. And so to even just start off the year by going to her beautiful lake house, getting to know one another, it really just sets the tone for the entire environment. And we did a lot of different things during my time there. We had brunches, we had cultural potlucks, we went to art galleries together and really just experiencing each other's cultures. But not only on that aspect, when it came to academics or applying for internships and jobs, we would have consortium study sessions where we would book a room, we would go over all of the practice questions together, tutor each other, which made such a difference because accounting is hard. I was a public health girl. I was pre-med. I can do a titration. The balance sheets were a little iffy, but we made it through, obviously. So that was great. And then also, whenever you're going through interviews or resume lookovers, you have those people there in your corner from the staff and the students who are willing to connect you, who will do a case with you and prepare you for your future. And then even now as an alum, I'm always hanging out with consortium people. I am seeing a friend tomorrow in the city. We're going to go to the Yale Club to catch up. But these people are people that I've traveled domestically and internationally with. They've helped me with my startup. I've helped them with theirs. I've been in their weddings. So the consortium family definitely runs very, very deep.
I love that. And I know we have Leonardo as well. So I'm gonna pass it back to Michelle. But thank you so much, Michaela. I'm sure we'll have questions for you afterward.
As
Thank you. Thank you, Yale. If anyone in the audience has questions, please drop them in the Q&A. I know Amber and Michaela will be monitoring so they can answer. And with that, Sita, if you could please go next. And then Rice did join us, so Leo can round us out, and then we'll open it up to general Q&A. Thank you.
All right. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Amazing. Hi, as I said, I'm Sita. I'm excited to chat with you about Stern, calling in from well, I think one Amtrak stop down, a couple more if you're on the Metro North from Yale here in New York. Something that's really important to us here at Stern is IQ plus EQ, this idea that you're going to business school, well, got a bunch of smarty pants. We know that's really important, but what's really actually going to be important and stay with us is the EQs, that emotional intelligence. We know that leaders who thrive are ones that are empathetic, that genuinely are invested in their community, that give grace, that are able to navigate situations that with emotional intelligence. So this is something that I hear all the time from our students, that it's genuinely not just marketing. It actually is something that they see every single day with one another, with alumni, with faculty, with staff. It's something that has made me feel so warm and welcome in the Stern community. My background is in nonprofits and education. I went to a tiny liberal arts college, wasn't so sure about the business school, and the EQ dynamics here really made me feel just so warm and so welcome here at Stern. So you'll see us talk a lot about this when we talk about Stern culture. You'll see it throughout our application process as well, because it is something that we start from not even day one, but all the days before that. We have a couple of MBA programs here. If you're applying through the consortium, you're really going to be focusing on the 2-year MBA. Full-time MBA program is a pretty traditional structure where you fall, spring, summer for your internship, and then fall, spring again. Outside of the consortium, we do have 2 one-year MBAs in tech and entrepreneurship and luxury and retail. I think if you're interested in these specific areas, know that all the classes that are offered in these 2 MBAs are available through the two-year full-time MBA. They're available as one of our 27 specializations. So worry not if you are really want to do tech and entrepreneurship, those can absolutely, you're not going to be missing out in any way by doing the 2-year program and doing that again through consortium. Speaking of our specializations, I said we have 27, we actually have 28. We just added one in AI. I think that one of the great things about Stern is that we have strength really across multiple disciplines. Most students take about 3 specializations. I was honestly surprised to hear that. I think that it really speaks to students finding their passion and finding that connection with faculty. I hear all the time that students will have taken a core class in something, or like, I got to check it off. You can choose your core classes. You got 8, you have to do 5, but there's people like, I took one, kind of thought I was interested, fell in love with the professor, and then ended up following that professor through all their electives and found the specialization. India Ghost, I think, definitely is one of them. He's dually appointed in marketing as well as our technology, operations, and statistics departments. He has some really interesting classes on e-commerce, social media, digital marketing analytics. He does some, I think, really incredible work in this space. Jen Wynn is also someone who I adore. She teaches really great courses on difficult conversations. How do you lead with EQ? How do you lead through conflict confidently, but with grace and with some understanding? She's a really cool person and teaches these really phenomenal classes. Dolly Chang also has some really great courses in developing managerial skills. She has a couple of TED Talks that are, I think, really interesting. Her latest book was focusing on a more just future. How do we reckon with our history as a country and move forward and create something that's different, sort of changing, not repeating history over. And someone who I think really fosters that EQ and fosters inclusive conversation every step of the way. From a career front, of course, you're right in the heart of New York City. So we have a ton of resources to help you in whatever path you want to go. I think that what I love about our career support is that it comes from multiple angles. With students in our student clubs, our professional clubs, they're really going to support you from a peer level. They're going to share, what was your internship like? What was the culture like? Here's what helped me through the process. And we have an amazing careers team that I think is great at showing you the big picture. So what is the market looking like? How have they seen students who have a similar background to you make that same pivot? They'll help you review your offers. Is that a great offer? Do you maybe need to negotiate? What is that negotiation conversation going to look like? They do a really phenomenal job of, I think, providing that wraparound support. So whatever your path is going to be, whether that's your plan A, your plan B, you go through your internship, you decide you want to shift because decided over summer that wasn't your fit. We support you and we want to get you to whatever your goal is. A lot of amazing companies. The access to in New York is unreal. We have lockers all over Stern, where you can keep keep a blazer, keep a button-up shirt, so you can go downtown for that coffee chat. If you get a last-minute invite, be bank ready, and then come back to campus for class later. So that unparalleled access plus this wraparound support, I think, really helps students get to that next level with their career. As far as our application goes, Michelle did a really great job of breaking down what the consortium app looks like for us and how the NYU Stern app fits in. Academics going to be the same. With your professional piece of it, right, we will review your resume, your recommendations as they come through the consortium. And then we also will review that goals essay. We don't require an additional goals essay. So we'll read the one that comes through consortium. Our supplement is one essay. It is a pick six. This is a really cool essay where it is a image and photo based essay. So you choose 6 images that tell your story and share something about you. Really encourage people to go beyond what's on their resume because it's a really great way to get to know people. I learned so much about people, and it's a great way to kind of break the ice ahead of an interview with this. There's also this mission essay, as Michelle said, we don't review that. That is exclusively reviewed by the consortium. With our interview process, we do require an interview for students who are being considered for admission. They are by invite only, so it'll be after your application is reviewed. Our interviews are done by the admissions committee, and they're done by someone who's read through your whole application. So we're not going in blind. We're going in with a read on your application. So we're not going to ask you to review your resume in real time. We'll say, hey, reviewed your resume. Tell me about a project at your most recent, at your most recent role, that kind of thing. I'm going to turn it over to Nelson, who is a rising MBA 2, to talk a bit about the community, because I think who better than our current students to talk about the STEM community.
Cool. Thanks, Ida. Hey everyone, I'm Nelson, currently rising MBA 2 at NYU Stern. I'm going to talk a little bit about community from both a consortium perspective and a more general perspective, and start off with talking about community in the application process. I think my first idea of what community was going to be like at Stern was during my interview process. The pick six is a really big deal. And to be quite honest, when it came to my application, I was very, very clear about who I was as a person on my pick six, because you choose 6 photos that pretty much identify like who you are. And I basically said, if this is too much for Stern, or if this is like too personal, then maybe it's not the place for me. And the interview really uh shifted my perspective in that I gave them exactly who I was, and we got to talk about that for the first like 10 minutes of my interview, which to me was like really shocking, because many other, interviews are very much, what was your first project like? What was the first time you faced conflict? In my interview at Stern, the first question was, so tell me about this baseball photo. And we got to chat about that for a long time, right? And that was like the beginning of what is community like at Stern. Now, going to the next level was, meeting my fellow classmates in consortium, which I was actually fortunate enough to meet in MLT, Management Leaders of Tomorrow. And that was really like the seed, or the beginning, the nexus of community at Stern. These were the individuals that I still talk to every day. It was the beginning of what I found to be my community at Stern. And the wonderful thing about it is that it's like your home base when it comes to understanding how classes are. I fully resonate, or how difficult accounting was definitely resonates with me, because I just went through that. But of course, I had my consortium community to really help me out, because the nice thing about consortium and about these admission processes is that um, the process develops a very diverse set of students that come from different backgrounds, have different specialties. So although, the fall semester is challenging because it's core courses, my consortium community really helped me get through that in a way that made it a lot less daunting, because it is challenging. And, we basically plan out how we go through our year together, not only through what we decide to do professionally and academically, but even socially. And it's also a way to expand your community within Stern from the different backgrounds, because your consortium community has students that also meet other people. So my consortium community might be like, hey, why don't we go to, this event with my friends over here? Because we're all going to be different people. And so almost immediately, I was able to meet more than half of my class, like without even being in school for a week or so. And then on top of that, we all have different interests. So we join different clubs. So I'm a part of the Association of Hispanic and Black Business Students, currently the incoming co-president. But my classmates are also a part of different organizations. So some might be in the finance GFA, Finance Association. Some might be in the marketing club. Some might be in the sports team. So it's also an easy way to get acquainted with all the different organizations that are on campus, and you're just quickly immersed in the school community. Now bringing that to the community at large, right? For some, it might be difficult to kind of, especially if you're more of an introverted person, or maybe you're more, into yourself, it might be a little bit difficult to get acquainted with the community at large. But again, organizing with the consortium community and pretty much navigating the campus as a group as opposed to as an individual just made it a lot more comfortable for myself and those in my class to build that network, to be more comfortable meeting others in the community. And my first year was unlike anything I could have expected. I thought it might take me a little bit more time to get acquainted with my fellow classmates, but it was literally almost immediate how quickly I felt comfortable and was able to just really get involved. Hence why I ended up joining Technology Association, student government, the Hispanic and Black Business Student Association, um, and even joining the sports teams to play basketball and such. It almost happened immediately. So yeah, I can talk more, but I'll pause there.
All right. I think this is a good place to wrap on NYU Stern. Again, if you guys have questions for Sita or Nelson, please put them in the Q&A and they'll monitor, and we will wrap with, last but not least, Leo from Rice. So if you want to go ahead and share your screen and take us away.
Hey, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Leo Nojosa, Assistant Director of Recruiting at Rice Business. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a few seconds while I do that. Okay. Let's see. No, where is it? Let me know if you, I guess with a thumbs up, if you guys are
Yeah.
able to see my screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and push this a little bit over here. Okay. So yes, I know we're on a time crunch, so I'll be mindful on the times. Well, once again, I'm gonna briefly talk regarding our full-time MBA information session. So once again, welcome. My name is Leo Nojosa, Assistant Director of Recruiting at Rice Business. So I've been with Rice Business for 4 years. More than happy to help you out if you ever have any questions, comments, and concerns. Okay. So the benefits of a Rice MBA, okay? That's what I'm going to be talking about within this next couple of minutes. So the Rice MBA, I'll be talking about the Houston Advantage, our rankings, our curriculum, outcomes and career, community, and new spaces, okay? So first things first, you are your best investment, okay? So you will definitely develop management skills for the immediate future, or for those that want to change or pivot your career path. Increase earnings potential, expand your network, which I'm going to go ahead and show in the next couple of slides. I'm going to show you how large is our network. Reach senior level roles in your organization. And for those entrepreneurs, you can definitely start your own business. Okay. So still related to the Houston Advantage, we are located in Houston, Texas. Houston is considered the 4th largest city in the US. Also, we're known as the most diverse city in the US. It's one of the fastest growing cities, and it's also a growing job market. A high concentration of large corporations, a strong entrepreneurial environment, and we are known to be the energy capital of the world. And also, Rice Business, we're located right next door to the largest medical center in the world. And then last but definitely not least, no state taxes. So in case if you're wondering, do they pay state taxes? We do not. Let's see, another reason for the Houston Advantage, it's more affordable. The cost of living is way less expensive compared to other major cities out there. We are a huge foodie paradise. As I've mentioned previously, we are very diverse. So we have people living in Houston, all parts of the world. And of course, we're going to have all different types of authentic cuisines. If you're a sports fan, we have 7 different professional teams. We're the cultural hub with world-class museums and performances, plenty of green space, and we are centrally located with 2 major airports. It is sunny year-round, with mild winters and no snow. It's very rare that it snows. So if you live in one of those cold climates, then you definitely want to move to Houston. Now, regarding rankings, okay, so we are the top 30 university according to US News and World Report. We're ranked number 16 for the best MBA in the US according to Financial Times. Top 10 business schools to watch according to Quotes and Quants. And if you want to break it even further, we are ranked number 3 for the best finance program, and we're ranked number 1 for the best entrepreneurship program, okay? Regarding our curriculum, so you will be taking core classes and you'll have custom program electives. So the way the curriculum is structured, okay, the program is 2 years. The first year of your MBA, you will be taking all your core classes that will be registered for you. So you don't need to worry about having to register online. It'll be done for you. On the second year of your MBA, that is where you will get to pick and choose electives, okay? Whether it's finance, entrepreneurship, marketing, you have the flexibility of diversifying your electives, okay? So you don't need to choose all finance electives or all tech electives, okay? You can diversify. In fact, we highly recommend it. World-class faculty who will know your name. And since we are a small cohort, roughly around, we're aiming towards 120 students within your cohort, I can assure you the faculty, our faculty, professors, they will get to know you by your first name. Experiential learning opportunities and a global field experience. That is where you, along with your classmates, will be going somewhere in South America, whether it's Argentina, Colombia, Peru, and you will be doing hands-on international business. Now, this is already included in your tuition. Okay, outcomes. So personalized career support with proven outcomes. An estimated 150K, which would be your average starting salary. 175 plus companies hired students. 71% of students accepted jobs from Rice Business. Now, whether it's investment banking or consulting, tech, or energy, these are some of the companies that we at Rice Business have a relationship with. Whether it's Bank of America, Barclays, JP Morgan, Amazon, Cisco, Dell, you name it. Top companies we have a relationship with, and a lot of these companies will come to our campus to recruit you students, okay? Now, here's a quick snapshot of the world. As you can see, all the little red pinpoints, this is where we are at when it comes to our Rice alumni. So one of our frequently asked questions is Rice alumni, where do they go? Do they just stick in Houston or in Texas? So the answer is globally. So as you can see, we have 70,000 Rice alumni, over 10,000 B School alumni, representing 59 countries and more than 1,200 C-level positions. Now, bigger space, bigger ideas. So we are finishing up and adding to our building. So we recently celebrated 50 years with Rice Business. So because of that, we've decided to expand our building, double the size. More than 112,000 square feet, more state-of-the-art classrooms, more modern spaces, new amenities, and events spaces. So whenever you guys come into Rice Business, you guys will be able to experience our new campus. Okay, so about our program. Our program is 2 years, as I've mentioned, or roughly less than, around 22 months. So it is an in-person on campus. As I mentioned previously, your cohort will be roughly around 120 students. Our program usually starts in August. It is 100% STEM designated. So it doesn't matter what classes you pick, what electives, everything 100% is STEM designated. It's a 60 total credit hours. It is a robust core curriculum with a global field experience, as I mentioned previously. 10 specializations available and over 100 plus electives for you to choose from. Now, when it comes to the elective, as I mentioned, you will be able to choose your electives on your second year of your MBA. Electives ranges from AI tools for business decision-making or digital marketing, financing the startup venture, real estate investment lab, and so forth. So you have that flexibility of choosing multiple types of electives during your second year of your MBA, okay? Now, really quick, this is our full-time MBA class profile. So currently, right now, we're at 137 students in the cohort. When it comes to the metrics, we're averaging around 3.4 GPA, The average GMAT score is at a 692. The average GRE quant, let's see, let me go ahead and type, yeah, 161. Regarding our demographics, we're roughly around 5.7 years of professional working experience, 34% female, 66% male. Now, one of our frequently asked questions is, "Hey Leo, what if I have less than the 5 years of professional working experience?" That's perfectly fine. Again, these are just metrics. It's just a profile because it's usually one of our frequently asked questions. But if you have less than 5 years, at least give us 2 years of professional working experience. You should be fine. Same thing with the GPA. If you have a 3.1 GPA, you can still apply with confidence. Okay, let's see. Okay, really quick regarding the application overview. So you will be applying through the consortium. Yes, 100% apply to the consortium. But really quick, I'm going to be talking about some of the key things that we look for in a RISE application. So everything will be done online. We will be requiring unofficial transcripts as well as a resume, preferably a one-page resume. If it's 2 pages, that's perfectly fine. Okay, one letter recommendation, and we will be requiring a standardized test, whether it's the GMAT or the GRE. And then, of course, you'll have several essays to fill out. Okay, so the next steps. So definitely do monitor the deadlines when it comes to the consortium, because consortium will have deadlines as well as RISE will have deadlines. But since you are applying through the consortium, you will want to follow the consortium deadline. So for round one, the consortium deadline, I believe it's October 15th. For round two, the consortium deadline is January the 5th. So be mindful on the deadlines. Hopefully I got the deadlines correct, Michelle, but yes.
Yeah, you did. They never change.
Okay,
October
perfect.
15th and January 5th.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, definitely do monitor and do yourself a favor. Try to submit the application a day or 2 days before, because you just never know. There might be a glitch in the system. It always happens. So do yourself a favor and submit the day before or 2 days before. Okay. Really quick regarding upcoming events. So we will be on the road with Consortium Maps, as I'm sure you all already know. So we'll be visiting Atlanta, Washington, D.C., New York City, Houston, and San Francisco. But always do feel free to check our admission events webpage for more information to connect with RISE on the road, especially like in June and July or any further events. Once again, I'm Leo Hinojosa, the Assistant Director of Recruiting. If you have your phone with you, go ahead and take a quick snapshot of the QR code. Schedule a meeting with me. I am more than happy to help you out. Guys, this is my job. I love what I do. So it's my job to be like, hey guys, do this or don't do that. I'm going to help you out throughout the entire way. So reach out. If you have any questions, let's schedule a meeting, and looking forward to talking to you guys very, very soon. So thank you.
What a great way to end. Thank you, Leo. And with that, thank you to our member schools who are committed to our mission. We can't wait to meet all of you. Make sure that you connect with our member schools individually as well, that you attend their events, get some FaceTime with their students, their admissions officers. We're all here to help, and we can't wait to support you on your journey and see where you end. And hopefully, like Michaela and Nelson, you will be presenting on one of these in a couple of years. So, with that, have a great evening and see you soon. Thank you all.